D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So I just finished the latest episode of What If, Marvel's What If, and it was the Chadwick Boseman episode. And I have to admit, this show is not as good as I thought it was going to be. This episode, like, it was fine, and I'll get through some of it. Like, I'll explain when I do the breakdown and my review and everything. But this was the show out of all the Marvel shows that they had announced. This was the one that I was the most excited for because I love What If comic books. I don't own a whole bunch of them. I should see if they sell them in like one of those thick graphic novel ones, but they were just one-offs. I remember going to the comic book store and, you go through the boxes and you find a couple of them and everything. And I remember loving them. I had one about Daredevil. I can't remember what it was. I don't have that one anymore, but I remember when I was younger, I had it. Anyways, and I love, like, what if the Punisher killed off the Marvel universe and everything. And I just love that whole thought process, like this multiverse thing and Elseworld stories in the DC universe and everything. I just love it. It's so great. But I have to admit, they are going in a direction that I personally am just like so sick and tired of seeing in my TV shows. And I'll get into it a little bit, but I mean, it's just so obnoxious. And like this show, like, I mean, it's not bad, but it's not that good, in my opinion. The last episode, it had some good stuff in it. The action sequences were good. And in this one, I mean, it was all right. I mean, maybe T'Challa shouldn't be Star-Lord because it was a lot of like, oh, you're so great. And I'm like, is he though? Is he? so I'll get started on breaking down this review and everything. Before I do, I just want to say that, Chadwick Boseman's death was really tragic. And so he seemed like a really great guy. I mean, I didn't know him personally, obviously. And it was sad that he had died of cancer. That's really sad. This was his last performance on the show. Before his last performance that is aired and everything. I don't know if it was the last thing that he shot. But it's really sad to see him go. And I did enjoy him as T'Challa and everything. Even though I thought Black Panther was just this, all right movie and everything. So let's get into this breakdown. So it starts off with all these credits and everything. And, talks about, the Watchers talk about the prism and everything and how time is not linear. It's like circular and all that stuff. I don't know. Anyways. He's like, oh, I am the Watcher and everything. And I'm like, yeah, you are. And it's like, what? And that makes you ask the question, what if and everything. And I love that. So in the Watcher, he's explaining, and we go through the events of the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy. And instead of, they walk in, and instead of it being, what's his face? Chris Pratt's character. God, I can't remember off the top of my head. It's T'Challa. And this guy's automatically like, Star-Lord. And I'm all like, you got to be fucking kidding me. He knows who he is. And then he just goes on and he's just sucking his dick the whole time. You're so great. You take from the rich and you give to the poor. And you're so great. You're awesome. I've heard about you forever. You are the best thing ever, but I'm going to have to take that little silver ball from you. And he's all like, no, we're going to have to tussle. And he's all like, oh, we're going to tussle. This is the best thing that's ever happened to me, to fight with you. I'm like, this is so stupid. This part, like, really, this character really annoyed me the crap out of me the whole time. And he's like, oh, and he's like, wait, can I use the gun? And he's like, yeah, you can use the gun. He's like, are you sure? And I'm like, dude, if you're going to take something from somebody, you don't ask them if you could take it. Okay. That part really annoyed me. I know I'm crapping all over it right now, but this character really annoyed me with his whole sucking his balls thing. It really was obnoxious. And so they're fighting and he's like, just hit me. And I'm all like, I mean, like, anyways. So then he hits this little thing, gets electrocuted. And he's like, and then when he does, he's like, that's my Star-Lord that I know and love, or whatever he says. And then he falls over and he's smiling when he gets knocked out. I'm like, what is going on here? And he mentions that he could do a career change or whatever if it was for him, kind of thing. So he stops those guys, takes him with him because he's going to be a Ravager now, because the Ravagers are good guys now. They steal from the rich and they feed to the poor and everything. And these guys are, it's a concept that's not bad. It's just, I don't know how I feel about that part of the program. I just don't like that everybody's like licking his butthole because he's so great. And I'm all like, listen, Chadwick Boseman aside, Black Panther, T'Challa in that movie is the least interesting character. Okay, I'm sorry. Every other character is way more interesting than T'Challa. So I'm like, but everybody in this show is he's just so great and everything. So then he's all like, Ravager never travels alone. And then you hear the whistle thing coming through and they kill up all these guys and everything. And he's all like, we could sell this on the black market. And he's all like, or we could take it to this system where their star is dying and we could save the whole solar system. They fly off. And then they show how T'Challa became Star-Lord. So they're in Wakanda and he wants to venture out and see the world kind of thing. And his dad's like, no, everybody, Wakanda's good. Everybody else bad. Okay. The world sucks, but we're so freaking great because we have meteors and everything. And it's not how science works, but whatever. It's fine. So then, so he's out throwing a spear and everything. Very cool. And he goes beyond the shield. And the Ravengers pick him up, but it's these two idiots right here that pick him up, and they're like, he's got a one mouth hole, two C holes, and two ear holes, and I'm all like, you guys look human. How do you not know what other humans look like? And if it's and then he puts up a picture, which I don't think I have. I didn't grab it. My bad. And he's all like, he doesn't even look like what's his face, Chris Pratt as a kid. And they're all like, all humans look the same or whatever. And he's all like, hey kid, he's like, why were you out there? And they did it because the shield, they were able to track him because they were like, he's got so much power. He has to be the kid of a celestial. So then he's like, kid, what were you doing outside of your little shield? And he's like, I wanted to discover the world or whatever. And he's like, I can show you you can discover millions of worlds. So they go off and then they land on this little planet and they're partying. And they're having a good old time. And I love how what's up this girl right here with the pink hair, what's up with this hairstyle? You see it in everything. Tila had it on Masters of the Universe. One of the new Jedi has it. The bad chick from Raya and the Last Dragon had it. What is with this haircut? Everybody's saying this is the lesbian haircut. If this is the lesbian haircut, that's a little, stereotyping just because you get this haircut. And what is going on here? Everybody's like, it's so badass. I'm like, it's not badass. Everybody has it. It's not badass anymore. Okay. You might as well throw a puka shell necklace on her and some friggin', I don't know, whatever girls wear, that was popular like 5 years ago, and just be like, yeah, it's cool because everybody has it. Get out of here with that nonsense. Anyways, so then Thanos comes up and they're all like, you know what you're talking about it, because it's like, I turned my way. T'Challa made me see my ways. And it's like, what's going on? T'Challa's not that great. I'm sorry. He's not that great. Okay. But so he's, so he's sitting here and he's like, what they're like, what you were proposing was genocide, right? And he's all like, or maybe it was a good plan or something like that. But so he's a part of the Ravagers now. And I'm all like, well, all right, cool, whatever. It's cool. I'm kind of behind it at this point. I'm just a little annoyed by this guy right here. Because he's all, yeah, like I said. And then we see Drax. Okay. Drax is a bartender. And I'm all like, ugh. And he's like, hey, you're a Star-Lord. You saved my planet. Let me get a picture of you so I can send it to my wife and my daughter. And then they take a picture of him. And he's like, do you want to retake that? Because you look horrible. I look fine, but you look horrible and everything. Good joke. It was a good joke. I liked it a lot. And then Nebula walks up and she looks good here. I mean, she's like very femme fatale, very James Bond woman and everything, or a Bond girl, whatever they're called. And he's all like, hey, what's up and everything. So she gives him a job and she's like, there's this spore or whatever. And she's like, 1 ounce will make a planet. It will terraform a planet instantly. Like it'll start terraforming it and make it livable kind of thing. He's like, what we could do with that to save, millions of planets and everything. And I'm just like, okay, cool. You're a do-gooder. I get it. That's cool and everything. But I mean, like, still. So then, they're all like, who's got it? And oh shoot, I didn't grab a picture of it, but it's The collector has it, and once Thanos left the bad guy biz, the void was filled by the collector. The collector's a bad guy now. He's a gangsta. And so they're talking about how it's going to be impossible to get in there. And he's all like, you want to go do this kind of thing? And he's all like, and then he comes back here and he's like, listen, and he's like, well, he's like, we're not doing this. And he comes and he's like, listen, you may be the heart of this ship, but you're not the captain. I was like, yeah, right. You're not the captain. You don't make decisions, Boy Scout. But he's all like, and he makes a fair point. He's all like, we keep, nickel and diming it, but we should do the big heist so we can help out more people, the most people, the most bang for our buck kind of thing, which I get that. And I just want to say, I'm not mad that they made him like a do-gooder. That part doesn't bother me. It just bothers me that like, they're all like being like, oh, you're just so great. And I'm all like, oh yeah, you're great. But I mean, like, I don't know what you've done. I mean, like, yeah, it's so anyway, so they're talking, they need to get to nowhere. So they go through their plan about how they're going to sneak T'Challa in, then he's going to go through and the bad guys and all that stuff. And this guy, that's the best plan ever. And I'm all like, what are you talking about? That's the best plan ever. Sneak a dude in a box. I saw it on Ocean 11 with that little Asian guy in that box. I saw it there. So it's not the best plan ever. So they meet the collector and he's all looking, very like gangstery, I guess. It looks like a pimp with his little coat on and everything. He runs into Howard the Duck and he's all like, where do I go to find the spores? And he shows him, but he's like, this is too much. You show me the way. So they start their distraction. And Proxima Midnight shows up and stops them all, but she's like, it's a distraction. Everybody to the compound or whatever. And then, this guy's at the bar. They start closing the gates. He goes into this little area with ships in it. And he comes across, his necklace starts glowing, and he comes into contact with this ship, which is a Wakandan ship. And he goes in, and I don't know if these little mannequins were set up to be mannequins or if they were actually people and the collector killed them and then put them in their costumes in here. But either way, he sees this hologram image of his father saying, our son is missing. Wherever he is, we're not going to stop. I'm not going to stop looking for him, which I thought was touching. He's a father. You totally understand. And he's like, if you're listening to this, I love you or something like that. Or I will, if I don't see you on this plane, I'll see you on the next. And he's talking about when he dies and he becomes Black Panther, he will see him on that plane, which we saw in Black Panther. So then Nebula, she double crosses him and they get thrown in prison. He's like, you didn't tell me my family was looking for me and everything. And he's all like, we're your family now. And he's all like, you were never my family. And I'm all like, get out of here, son. They were never your family. They were until 5 minutes ago when you found out that Yondu lied. So all these other people who didn't lie to you and say your people were destroyed, they're not your family now because Yondu lied to you. Get out of here with that nonsense, T'Challa. Like, think. I mean, come on. But at the same time, he's angry. I get it. He's angry. So when you're angry, people say mean things when they're angry. So he gets put in a box and he's all like, do you have any superpowers? And he's all like, no. And he's all like, well, then you're not that. And he's like, but he says the line, when you put people in cages, bad stuff happens to you. I can't remember exactly what he said. And she takes this to heart, which I get it because she killed herself in Guardians of the Galaxy 1, 2, 1. So then he's mad. So then he tells him to dissect him and throw his body parts somewhere else. And he's all happy. This guy, I can't remember his name, Mog or something like that. Anyways. So then they're sitting here. Nebula comes in. She shoots, Onyx. I don't remember his name. Anyways, Blackstone. And they realize that it's a triple cross. And she's all like, I didn't know about the Wakandan ship and everything, but it doesn't matter and everything. So then they start going. T'Challa breaks out and he gets him up in the air, but then what's her face shoots him and she's all like, I liked your line about the keeping people in cages thing. So then they attack the collector, but he's got this stone arm, which I think is from what's his face from Thor, which makes me sad because he killed Taika Waititi's character and cut off his arm and then used it as a glove and everything. So they're fighting and he pulls out all these fun weapons. He pulls out an elven blade, and then you can see in the background there's Captain America's shield, there's Thor's hammer. So it's like those people aren't around anymore, I guess. And then he gets Hella's helmet, and he starts throwing these little blades at him, and that's a fun picture right there. So then this guy comes out, and all the Ravagers are running from Proxima Midnight and this Mogwai guy looking guy. Anyways, and they're running, and Thanos turns around. He's all like, go and everything. So he's taking everybody out until he has to deal with him and Proxima Midnight at the same time. He can't do both of them at the same time. So then they're fighting and everything, and they get he comes in, and then these two are fighting. Nebula comes in and helps him out. And while she's doing that, she releases these little spores from that little canister into his mouth, and then he starts growing weeds out of himself, and gets rid of Proxima Midnight. They're starting to run. They jump onto the ship, and yay, and everything. And then these two are fighting. And then they're like, what are we going to do now? And they're like, sticky fingers and everything. And he's all like, who's the glue? And he's like, well, you did lie to me. So then he's just basically just getting beaten up so he can steal the armband that he's all like, doot, 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 and taking and getting everything. So then they put him in a box. Beep, boo, ee, hoo. Oh, I'd play that song, but I'd get copyright claimed. I'm gonna get crazy. Anyways, so then she's all like, go, and then she opens up everybody else's cages. Oh, and I didn't get a screenshot of that. I'm dumb. So then he opens it up, and all these people that he's got kidnapped in there, they surround him, and he's all like, be nice and everything. It's like, no, you're about to catch these hands from like a million people. So then they leave nowhere, which is now sprouting trees and bushes and stuff. Nebula talks to him, and she's like, this is really gonna help a lot of people. So then they're sitting there talking, and I can't remember what they said, but they end up going back to Earth. And he goes into this thing, and it was really touching to see it. And he sees his father. He's like, Baba, and everything. And he doesn't say anything to his mom. I mean, F-bomb her. She's just, a pair of ovaries, I guess. And so they're talking, and I like her. She's all like, you're talking about genocide. And he's like, it's not genocide because it's equal. And I was like, and this is the thing, Thanos was not 100% wrong. I just want to say that. So, and then this guy's talking, and of course he's just bragging up freaking Star-Lord. And I'm just like, oh, why? So these two are talking, and then he asks, how did you get on the ship? And he's all like, oh, I took it. And he's like, I was lost, but Yondu found me. And then we switch over to what's his face, Chris Pratt's character. I cannot remember his name. And he's working at Dairy Queen. This really annoyed me because I'm like, you have to bring one character down to build another character up. That's BS. Okay. And you needed to legitimize T'Challa as Star-Lord because it had to be a white character first. That's how you legitimize these characters now. It's crazy. But he had to be working at Dairy Queen because he couldn't, be inventive and come up with something else. He just had to be some asshole working at Dairy Queen, but okay, whatever. And his dad shows up. He's like, can I help you? And he's like, what, son? You don't recognize your good old dad and everything. And he gets the glowy eyes, and then you see the ship in the background, and then, and that's where it ends. And so I know I just crapped on it a lot, but like I said, this isn't a bad episode. It's just not that great, in my opinion. It's like got a lot of flaws. But it was nice that we did get Chadwick Boseman for one last time in the MCU. I just feel really bad that he died. He just, like I said, he seemed like a really good person, like in real life. I don't know him personally, obviously, but he just seemed like a good person, and I was really bummed that he died. Yeah, and but teach their own. They're not recasting Black Panther / T'Challa as Black Panther. They're just going to do a new Black Panther, which is fine. I was in the camp of recasting, but I'm not one of those people that's like hardcore about it. I'm all like, just do whatever you're gonna do, just make a good movie. And if that's what they did, then I'm totally cool with whatever they do. But I'm just I was definitely in the camp of recasting, because I don't think that just because you play a part, no matter what happens to you, you don't own that part. I'm sorry. They could totally, like, I Carrie Fisher died. I say recast Princess Leia. I know that's not, but that's in Disney now, so I can bring that up. But yeah, I just yeah, but they're not going to recast. They're just going to have it here. So it was nice to have him in there. I'd be curious to see if they would have another T'Challa Star-Lord storyline in season 2, or if they'll have another T'Challa as something else in season 2, because this is getting a season 2. But yeah, this episode was very mediocre in my opinion. Very like middle, like out of 10, 5. It gets a 5 for me. Like, and the same thing with the first episode. Like, this show has been disappointing so far, and we only have um 7 episodes left, because it's not 10, it's 9 episodes. All right, so tell me what you guys thought about this episode. I know you're all mad at me because I didn't like this episode. I know you are. I know you're mad at me. But hey, listen, I can't like something if I don't like it, okay? Back off, okay? But like I said, go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. You know I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next breakdown and review for Marvel's What If next week. You guys have a good week. Bye.